we are here to share our love story. I dare say that we're a couple that is very much in love with each other. We are very much in love and we like each other. That doesn't mean we don't fight. We fight, we settle. But I can tell you that it's been an amazing journey, and we feel it will bless one or two persons for us to share out of our experience. We're going to share using our professionalism, because both of us are professional marriage counselors. We've gone through trainings. Both of us have been married because we're married to each other. So we have a whole lot of experiences. Um, we said we're also going to use our skills that we have acquired, and then of course our training. The first thing that we're going to start with our story. I know I asked a question over across social media platforms that, oh, how many people like love story? I'm a romantic at heart. So if you like love story, please can you just put something in the chat group? Say yes, I like love story, or no, I don't like mushy love story. So if you know that you like love story like me, please can you just um, put something in the chat group? Ooh, I can see my big auntie. Okay. You love happy endings. Okay, yes, great. So yes, I love love stories, and and gratefully I experienced a life one, and I'm still experiencing it. So I'm just going to kick off, by starting out myself, and um I call my husband D. His name is Dele Agbogun, and my name is Uwa Agbogun. So so we met in our former church. Then we used to stay in Ketu in Alakbere in Lagos, Nigeria. So he just came from Gombe, where he did his youth service. I was attending the church not far from where I was staying with my parents, and so we met. I was in the drama group. He was in, because of his engineering background, he studied electrical engineering. So he just gravitated towards the technical, team. And so he started serving there. And the first time I met him, in this our love story, I want us to not take away the fact that the God factor cannot be taken away. In this our love story, the first time I think I remember that I saw him. He was giving a testimony of how he got a job with an automobile company here in Lagos after coming from Gombe from his youth service. And he was up there. I used to be in the choir, so I was in the choir side. And as he was talking, something just dropped in my head that this is your husband. And with that shock, I just not decided to take a proper look at him. I noticed that his shirt was kind of oversized, and me, being the sharp, being the sharp Benin girl that I am, and of course with all the M&Bs that I had read, I had already had a picture of the kind of man I wanted. I wanted someone tall, light skinned, very handsome, very eloquent. Light skinned because I say, okay, because I'm dark skinned, I didn't want my children to be too dark skinned. Can you imagine vanity? I don't want my children to be too dark skinned. And so I said, what was those shall be chocolates, all those things that we all cook up in those early years. So when the thing dropped as he was giving the testimony of his job, I just said, this one cannot be. And I wanted a tall person because I had also appraised myself that I'm not tall. So I wanted a man that would be tall so that my children would not be short, so that they would not be dark. So you can imagine the weird things I had cooked up, of what I wanted in a man. Of course, the internal um, valuables were also there that I had to, but I wanted someone handsome. Of course, he ticks the handsome part because he's very handsome. But for me, I wanted light skin, and so to cut a long story short, I I said, I, but then he didn't even make any move. Later on, I noticed that he started, he joined our drama unit, and then he started making advances. He started taking an interest in me, and me that I've already crossed him off my mind. So there's no way. But something was very obvious. I noticed that he's very caring, very loving, very sacrificial. And it wasn't just to me alone as a person, but even to our community of young friends in that church. So that registered and resonated with me so strongly. And so I started, taking having second thought that this guy is actually very nice. He doesn't have money, yes. He's not tall, yes. He's not light skinned, yes. But can I sacrifice all these other ones for this other one? So by and large, by the time he came out with his manifesto, oh, I want to marry you, afraid, I feel comfortable. He didn't tell me that. Just said the Lord though. He just said he has prayed. He feels comfortable that he's I'm the person that God has directed him to, and and so if I'll marry him, what do we say those days? I told him yes that I'll let me go and pray about it. So so I went and prayed about it, and I told him yes that I was going to marry him. So you're welcome, everybody. As you come in, please kindly mute your microphones. We are just in the first stage. I'm relating our love story from my perspective. Okay. So I told him yes. But then I started seeing him, from a different perspective. I said, this guy is gentle. Meanwhile, this gentility is something that also drew me to him. But I was like, this guy is too gentle. Where I come from, as a Benin girl, you have to hustle. I mean, you have to have some form of aggressiveness in you. I said, this one is not aggressive. If I marry this guy, so it's not one chance I'm going to enter. So you won't be able to also. I mean, it's hunger that will kill me and my children. Please let's mute our microphones. I said it's hunger that will kill me and my children. So it's like I will reconsider. Meanwhile, when I said yes, I had actually prayed and I knew I felt some form of leading. But then I was like, he's too gentle. He won't be able to hustle in life. This one he will use hunger to kill me. It's poverty that will kill me and him and the children. So one day when he came to see me, I just told him that I've reconsidered that I'm not doing again. And so my husband, my husband was devastated.
See, all this testimony.
So please let's mute our microphone. My husband was devastated. I was like, I mean, yes, I'm romantic, but I also have to be logical. This is my future at stake. I had rationalized everything that there's no way I'm going to mortgage my future, blah, blah, blah. And so he left me alone for some time. But then again, because he said he had prayed and he still went back to God and said, but God, you led me to this girl, oh. This girl that after saying yes, now she's saying no again. You led me to this girl. Lord, I mean, you just have to come in and, work things out. And he said he felt that leading, and God told him that he should go back. And so he came back, we were friends, and there was nothing. So we were just friends for a long time. I was in school then in Benin. So I'll go to school, I'll come back, we'll meet in church, but there was nothing again. And then there was one long holiday, and with all the, ASU strike and all. So we went for one you remind me one praise night. So someone invited me for praise night. I love worship a lot. I love praise. I love, So somebody invited me, invited both of us for praise night, a mutual friend of ours. And so I had worshipped so much that night. And while we were coming, I just had this strong urge that, oh, I don't miss this opportunity. This guy is the guy for you. Don't miss this opportunity. So it was inside down for bus. So we were from Oshodi to Ikorodu. So I just come to him. I said, hey, bros, how many children do you think we should have? He just looked at me strange. I say, what did you say? I say, how many children do you think we should have? He now said, are you saying what I think you are saying? I say, I think you're saying what you think I'm saying. And so he shouted, he was so excited. And that was how we now kicked off the relationship formally. My parents were very supportive from the beginning. He will come to the house, my mom will cook for him, because my husband is well mannered, loving, caring, fantastic behavior. And
Thank you.
So that was how we met. So I don't know if you have your own thing that I start, or you think I doctored something.
I think you have said everything. Once again, I want to say thank you to everybody that made that time to be a part of this session. We just want to let you into our world and understand how God has helped us thus far. The same person I'm looking at now, I remember there was a time before we got married, like she said, we met in drama units. I've given these stories over and over again before. When you see somebody with a personality that is strong, and you now have a personality that is very timid, so to speak. And we're in drama unit, when you see her argue her case and her point and her opinion, then you're wondering. What I told myself then, I remember I will always say this, that I pity the husband that will marry this woman. Like I will always humorously say that I never knew I was pitying
You
myself.
pity yourself.
So now, thank God, 18 years now, I'm not pitying
Yeah.
myself. I am grateful to God that
Ooh.
actually made a bold decision,
Mm.
part of her life. And candidly, what I was looking at, because I have to get to a point where I sat down, I looked at it, I said, am I looking at the current reality, or I should look at what should be? And I looked at it and I said the truth to myself, and I was being frank. I said, Dele, if you get married to somebody like you, that was my own understanding then, and I made me make the decision. I said, if I get married to somebody like myself, I said, somebody that is slow to making decision. I said, by the time you marry somebody also that is slow in making decision, I said, it's just slow motion plus slow motion that will give you a full stop.
Full stop.
No, I'm not ready to have this kind of thing. It should be somebody who have a mind of our own, somebody who is strong, somebody who is determined, somebody who is forthright. That was what led to my making my decision. And the question I asked was, the person I'm seeing now, the next, can I spend the rest of my life with this person? Because at this point in time, I've progressed and I have a better understanding of what true relationship and traits to look for is actually all about. So I told myself, I said, I'm ready to go all the way with this that I'm seeing as a concern. And that's how we find ourselves where we are today. It's not been easy, especially the first part of our years, but it's past the first year of our marriage, but it's been an adventurous and a fulfilling one, and especially when we got to understand each other more. That's all about ourselves, so that we don't spend too much time, because I think we want to move on a journey on how we actually evolved, and want to move into 5 different stages. Each of the stages, one person will talk about one, I will talk about the other one. Then at the end of the day, we want to be able to create room whereby we can have anybody who have a question to ask, they will be able to answer it. We just want to make it as plain and as real as possible, because there's nothing hidden under the sun. And if people can see the sincerity in you and know what you've done, knowing that it's not rocket science, it's just the willingness to be dead to self, it's just the willingness to subject your logic to God and let God help you in relating with your partner, and be willing to learn from one another, then I can assure that bliss will be our experience. So I think we should fire on.
Yeah, let me quickly, relate some of the intangibles. I had said that I wanted someone who is tall, who is light. He didn't tick those boxes for me, but he ticked some other boxes that were very, very important. And those things formed the bedrock of our relationship. Please kindly mute your microphones, please. As you join us, we welcome you. Kindly mute your microphones. Thank you for joining us. Happy Sunday, happy new month. This is Evolve with Dele and Uwa. So I said there are some intangibles that I looked at that contributed to changing my mind, beyond the fact that he was persistent, and the fact that I also felt led that this was the person for me. Number one, he's a very person, and I looked at it that, is it I was looking for a light-skinned man, someone that is light. Is it the light skin
I was also looking for a light-skinned person too when I had my criteria stated. So lo and behold.
But there was one girl who was eyeing down our former church that time. Should I call her?
Thank you very much. Just go on.
So I asked myself, is it light skin that would make a relationship for me? Is it light skin that will love me, that will sacrifice? Because I know that marriage is a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
Okay. And I looked at the intangibles. My husband is very caring. He's very loving. He's sacrificial. He's honest. He's giving to the things of God. He loves God. And most importantly, he submits himself to the word of God. He allows God to direct him. So for me, I was like, if down the line we now begin to have issues, then who am I going to run to? If this guy is not subject to anybody, he's not the type that he doesn't have regard for anybody, he's not subject to God, then who am I going to run to? So for me, those were things that that counted greatly. That the intangibles, the internals, the ones that were beyond the surface. Yes, of course, I liked packaging. I wanted the tall, light-skinned, handsome, and able to speak very good English. I know because my husband is an engineer. He trained as an engineer. His English was not the kind of English I wanted in a man. His English was engineering English. If you know what I mean, those who know us know when I say engineering English. Those intangibles till today and till tomorrow are still the bedrock of our relationship that is sustaining us and helping us. The fact that this is someone who is giving to God. I'm also giving to God. I'm not boasting. I'm someone that over the years I've learned, I've loved the Lord, and I've remained committed. Of course, we are humans. We've failed, one way or the other, but we have remained in the Lord, and that has been the foundation of these 18 years of marriage. So, um, so now we're going to talk about how we evolved, and we've classified.
She's also intelligent. She's
Thank you,
she has godly values.
thank you,
She's beautiful.
thank
We
you.
have shared values, and I saw her son that's on a mission. Then we have similar priorities in life. So I think I should also chip in my own intangibles. So you can go on.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
So,
welcome.
we said this evolved. So we want to tell you using our story how we evolved from those, naive young girls and young man into this matured, stable, a couple who have grown in their love, who have grown in their relationship, and have grown to love and respect, each other. So after the saying yes and saying no, and back to saying yes again, of course, we started courtship. We told our pastors. We started courtship, and then we had our wedding. We had the support of our parents, families, and so everybody chipped in to make our wedding a successful one. That was July 27th, 2002. And then I now moved into husband house. So when I moved into husband house, that was when real life now started. So I'm going to talk about the first phase, of evolving. After I said yes, we were now we're so much in love. We were so into each other that my parents' house, in Ikorodu, where I was staying, where he was staying in Alakbere. When my church was staying in Alakbere, then so when I come to church for choir practice or for drama rehearsal, my husband will say he's seeing me off. He will see me off to Alakbere bus stop. From Alakbere bus stop, he will not see me off and enter bus with me to K2. For those of us that know these areas, I don't know how to calculate the distance. It's not small distance. He will not see me off from where our church was to the bus stop in Alakbere. From
Should be over
Alakbere,
10 kilometers.
Yes. From there, he will see me off to K2 with bus. He will pay for me, pay for him. From there, he will see me off. He will not we will not stay waiting for Ikorodu bus. So, and by the time Ikorodu bus comes, we will rush. He will say he wants to rush with me to help me get seat. He will rush and sit down, and I will not sit down. He will follow me to Ikorodu. He see me off. And that was stage one, And that stage is what we have called the romance fantasy stage, where you are just so into each other. The love is sweet, everything is shocking you, and you can't get enough of each other. You want to spend so much time together. And so for every little time, he was working then, I was a student in Archipoli. So whenever I come home on holidays, we try to spend time together. So he would, and there was no GSM, there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, there was no all these things, to help communication. So it was only when we see that we talk. And so he will follow me to Ikorodu. At times, he will even follow me to our house. I mean, this is no small distance. He will follow me to our house, and then from there, he will not take bus all alone back. So that stage of fantasy, in his eyes, it's as if I could do no wrong. In my eyes, he could do no wrong. We were drunk in love. We were drunk in love, and we were like, this is it. Coupled with the fact that he's even now someone that is very caring, very supportive. My husband can put his eyes on me. I say that I'm a spoiled wife. My husband can do anything for me. So I was enjoying the attention, the pampering. So at that stage, I could do no wrong, he could do no wrong. So for us, in our evolving stage, that's stage one. So my husband will talk on stage 2, and I also chip in. So Dee, take it over from.
You know, when we move from the realm of fantasy, we now enter the realm of discovery. We always tell people that by the time you are married, you have entered into a discovery channel. So we've entered into the discovery stage, and we call it familiarization stage. And it's actually the time where you adjust into the reality zone. And for those of us that are married listening now, you can easily relate with that. Why is it that the very thing that tend to get us attracted or got us attracted together then is now the very thing that has become a bone of contention now? Because the very thing I said, I needed somebody that is forthright. I needed somebody that is determined. I needed somebody that have a mind of her own, so that whenever I'm not there, she can take a decision and I'll be fine with the decision. Here I am now, and now I have to confront somebody who will not mind expressing her opinion. And I don't have that energy, I don't have the ability to have that oratory prowess to be able to respond back accordingly. So it became a serious issue, because and now the reality now dawned on me that what I was actually praying for is that actually has its own side effect, but the reality is that it's actually that person that I needed in life to be able to get better. And therefore, if people look at this very well, you can look at the time range of between the first to the 2 years period. It differs in some people. Some people get into it early, some people get out of that stage also earlier, while some still remain in that stage longer than even the 2 years, depending on their level of maturity that they display in trying to relate with one another. And this is where you get to know each other more and more. And as a result, you start seeing various flaws and shortcomings. This is the time you start saying that this person, he used toilet without flushing. This person comes in, remove his or her clothes, and just dump it somewhere. Because of the personality traits, you notice that this person now exhibits some things. This is the time I now notice that, my wife, because she's trying to express her opinion, because I am more on the reserved side and I'm sensitive to words, she used some words. As far as she's concerned, she's just expressing her mind. Now I'm seeing it as an issue. Now my own quiet disposition that she emphasized that, this quiet, gentle guy that I love, I now became too gentle for her liking. We're trying to resolve an issue. I'm trying to take time to resolve, to process the issue before I can respond. Sometimes it takes me 1 week, and I'm ready after 1 week to now come back to resolve the issue. And thereafter, she can explode and now say, what do I mean by that? So there's a point where I realized that we were finding it difficult in the area of our communication. I'm finding it difficult that she cannot understand me. She's finding it difficult that I cannot understand her. Then it was not really a good place to be, especially if you lack the know-how to navigate from this stage. Okay, so maybe you might want to add something to that.
So, like he said, because we're not staying together, it's as if my eyes were now opening. We've never stayed together before. So now that we're not staying together 24 hours, though he goes to work, my eyes were not seeing things. I was not seeing certain things that I just didn't like. And certain things he was saying to me that I did not like. He has, listed some of them. And me, that was, difficult to grapple with. And so I now remember when people say, there's something that people used to say when they say, when you fall in love, marriage will open it for you. So
love
for me,
is blind, marriage will open it.
Exactly. Love is blind, but marriage will open it for you. But again, because we were committed to our vows, committed to the relationship, so we had no choice but to be determined, to evolve and navigate through that particular phase. So what did we do? What are the things that we did? We had to learn to communicate. For that particular phase, yes, we are telling our story, but we're also injecting into it, tools and tips that will help us no matter the phase that we are in. No matter what phase you are in your marriage, you can never outgrow communication. So we had to communicate. But then even in communicating, that also brought in another issue. How was I communicating? I think I communicate because I'm majorly choleric by nature. though I won't say my colleague has reduced now, sha. So he had, which one is which where is
No,
the where are you
just
clearing yours? Why are you not clearing throats? He had issues with the way I was, doing the communication. And then the truth is, no, if you're in this phase, you have to learn to communicate. Communication is very key. You have to correct in love and with love, and you have to correct with respect. Even when you see things, like he gave example of people that will not flush. I know some couples, because we cancel couples a lot, we've heard of serious and mundane things. Some people, when some guys wants to use it, the restroom, they will not raise the cover, which is meant for the women to sit on, and then you now see urine stain on it. Some of them, as they are coming, they are dropping things. So if whatever it is that is irritating, thank you, Ayomide. Ayomide, please kindly mute your microphone. Thank you for joining us. So what we are saying is, no matter that phase that you are in, as you begin to get to know your spouse or your partner more, because you're not spending time together, you're not married, and you're in the same house, communicate. Don't bottle things up. Correct in love and with respect. And then we also say that pay attention to your spouse. Okay, pay attention to your spouse. One huge takeaway for me in our relationship is that we grew to the level where whatever is of importance to my husband is of it became a priority for me. And whatever is of importance to him, to me, became a priority, for him. And my husband will deliberately not hurt you. So when you know your spouse, I know that this person cares for me, this person will not hurt me, this person will not deliberately plan evil or make me upset. You too, you will know to navigate, certain things. I remember when we just got married, when in my own home, my family, before I got married, um, because of our Benin background, we must eat pounded yam at least once a week. My dad loved pounded yam. So some of those things I carried into our relationship. I said, because my dad loves pounded yam, so me too, I'll start pounding yam for my husband. And I, on Sunday, when we come back from church, I will now put yam on the fire. We were staying upstairs. I'll carry pesto. Not now that we use food processor. I'll carry pesto downstairs. I'll go and be pounding under the hot sun. And my husband told, and when we finish pounding, me, I'll be expecting that he will tell me thank you very well, knowing the sacrifice I've made. My husband told me one day that this pounded jam that I used to pound on Sunday after church is guilty. You cannot be eating it because he feels the water I put in is too much. I'm just using that to buttress, when someone so cares for you that even though he likes pounded jam, he just felt the water for me was too much and I should stop doing it. So pay attention to your spouse. Watch out for the things that are of interest to them, and then pay attention to those things. If there are issues coming up as you get to know yourselves in this particular stage that is of concern to you, then raise them with respect, raise them with love. And then also remember that you are no longer single. When we are single, we do things because we don't have to be accountable to someone because nobody's staying with us. Abi, I know you're always saying it. Then because you can go to for guys, you can go to your friend's house with the intention of, okay, maybe I'll come back to my house like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. And at times you can sleep off there. You don't have to call anybody. But when you are married, it's no longer the same thing. Accountability is now very key. So you have to be deliberate. Intentionality is now very needed, especially in space that you are in. This adjustment to reality phase. You now have to be very deliberate and be intentional, knowing that you have another life that is now attached to yours. Okay. So that was how we were able to navigate from that phase. We were able to evolve, from that phase. And what are the things that helped us? We there was a time we had to recourse to our counselor, a former pastor in our church, but he's not a pastor now. We had to speak to him. We read books, and those things help us. So let's move to the next stage. You're supposed to take that next stage, Abby. Yeah.
So the beauty of this thing is that even though we said the previous stage is 1 to 2, it all depends on the level of maturity of each person. In each relationship, the maturity level of both parties will go along with determining how soon or how long they spend in each stage. The next one, ideally, we expect that between 2 to 5 years period. Ideally, for some people, after 2 years, they're able to scale through this stage, and we call it the storming stage. It's the storming stage, and it's which is also known as either a stage where somebody is disappointed, a phase where there's distress, it's a stage where you now see resentment coming up and the rest like that. And these are characterized by, when you look at a scenario in a home, most of us here would have seen examples of families where at this stage, you see when people are arguing, there's so much argument, there's so much tension, there's so much anger, which that characterizes this particular stage. And, conflict is a common place as you become more aware of your differences, because now these things becomes worse if both parties that are involved couldn't successfully resolve the previous state that you were in to get into this stage. So in as much as we are looking at the phases as, okay, this is a stage where it is very volatile, it's very, very, very bad. In the same vein, at this stage, if people have worked very well, at this stage, they should have started understanding each other better and trying to do what's supposed to be done as well. So you may begin to withdraw, because one of the symptoms also is that you see either or both parties begin to withdraw, either consciously or unconsciously, especially if you are waiting for who will apologize. And no small arguments can become so magnified, just like a little stick of match. It might not have so much damage, but if you try that in a forest that is dry, at the point where you strike that match, it's not looking so dangerous. But if you don't do something about it and it engulfs the entire forest, it becomes dangerous to the inhabitants of that locality, if we have any inhabitant around such an area. So it's the same way. We have to counsel people whereby the root cause of their problem, and some that have even led to separation, when you track it, it's not because in-laws were fighting each other. It's not because they dragged third party into it. It was because it all started from somebody not saying, I am sorry.
Yeah.
I am sorry. Someone was not humble enough to know when to say he or she is sorry. And the other party, depending on their personality, got the thing aggravated, made the situation worse, drag parents and families into it, drag pastors and church into it. Before you know it, everybody now went their separate ways. These are true life stories I was saying here, because we've been in this game for quite a while. So what do we want to advise? At this stage, wherever is the state that you are in currently, at this stage, there's a need for you to know that you are different, and that is not bad. We are different, and that is not bad. I always say that differences are not deficiencies. For each personality comes with strengths and weaknesses, but each person focus only on the weaknesses of the other partner, because interestingly, in most cases, you realize that where you are strong is where your partner is weak, and where your partner is strong is where you are weak. But if people are not mature, they will fail to come to that reality that I have a weakness. Then if you can come to that awareness that you have a weakness, then you will not only be focusing on your partner's weaknesses, because if you look at it objectively, you will know that your partner have area of strength where you are weak, and therefore the best thing is for both parties to collaborate. So the knowledge that you are different is key, so that when you know you are different and that both of you have weaknesses, then you see how you can leverage each other's strength. And it's as we do that, like myself and her now, she's on the choleric side. There is a way we describe the choleric nature of people. We call them intimidating humor. We use car model in describing some of this personality. I share a part of phlegmatic. We call somebody like me, what do you call me? That is systematic fraud, and also dependable truck. I'm more of dependable truck, which is phlegmatic, is the male that we describe as systematic Ford, just to let you know the personality that they carry. So if you don't have that understanding, I'm telling you, it will go a long way in destroying that relationship. Then you need, if you now know that temperament play a role, then there's a need to study about it. There's a whole lot of assessment you can use to run on yourself to have an idea. If somebody is listening now or watching now and you don't have an idea of the temperament, then there are series and series of temperament assessment. And if you are here and you know you don't have, if you can leave your details in the comment section. Somebody will help us harvest that information. Then we can send you the tools where you can use to assess your own and also your home. Then you define acceptable behavior.
Yeah.
So if I don't like something about my wife, now we've grown to that point where I am free enough, because we've created an enabling environment whereby we are free to express ourselves without any fear of intimidation. So if I don't like it, I bring it to her attention. If she doesn't like it, she brings it to my attention. What still happened recently, though I didn't feel very good about it, but the reality is that if your partner don't like it, then she doesn't like it. If he doesn't
like it. What
like
is it that you didn't feel good? Is it me that offended you?
That's how we talk. No matter, that's how we talk. So you define the acceptable behavior, because don't hold your feelings. Try to make it as open as possible. So so you define then communication can never be overemphasized, because at this stage, if the communication is not effective, I'm telling you, it will make the situation worse than the way it is. So we always recommend that you resolve the conflict as soon as possible. Don't sweep things under the carpet. Make sure you square up with it and ensure that you do something about it. A typical example that we have, when we were married, I have my own elder sister at one time like that she brought somebody in. Then she was staying with me and we're already married, and she brought somebody in without our knowledge, and the person was just there, and right there and then the person was going to sleep. And because of my temperament nature, I don't like confrontation. I didn't like it, but I didn't confront the way it's supposed to be. My wife was not happy. She was very angry. So that day it was an angry.
Excuse, sir. Can I take the story the way it really went? Because it's as if they won't get it. See, let me tell you guys the story. Then he can go on with his solution or the tools that driving. We were already married. We were staying in a 3-bedroom apartment in Ikorodu. And then there's this big sister of ours that brought in. She was coming to our place. She brought in a man that we've never met. We don't know her. We don't know the man before. We've never met the man. And the man sat down. Me, normally, I'm very hospitable. The way my mother trained me, cooking food is not the problem. I can cook food and give you. So food was not the issue. But we're looking at the time, 9 o'clock, 9:30. This brother, is he not going? And then I was asking my husband, ask Cantina, sure this man is not going. He didn't want to ask her because, like he said, he's not a confrontational person. So I said, let's ask you. We have young children at home. What if the man kidnap all of us and carry us away? I said, Naisha, someone of courage to go and ask. And guess what? He brought the man to come and sleep in our house. She didn't tell us, no prior notice. Me, I don't know which woman that is so angelic and saint-like that will not react to. And I told him, it's not me that will tell her. Go and tell her that man will not sleep in this my house.
So I must have courage.
He's even bad enough that you brought a man. You didn't even tell us you are bringing a stranger to our home. But because of the way we are kind of open. We are very receptive of people. And then because he came with her, who is our big sister, we didn't raise objection. And she didn't introduce the person, whether this person is my boyfriend or this person is my business partner. There was no introduction. All we knew that the man came, he sat down, he was watching TV, and they were there. Time was going. I was looking at clock. I was doing. All my body was itching. All the pepper body in me was. And then I could not hear that the man was going to sleep. So it was on that basis I said, go and tell her the man is not sleeping in this house. So please, it's good for you to have the right story, the right perspective.
Thank you very much. You can see the difference playing out now. She's an analyzer. So I take time and many words to use to describe what I have to describe. So thank you for helping me out there. So now it's because we've developed ourselves to this point now. That's why we can really talk about it this way. Just imagine that we don't have a good handle on that. That could have crashed our marriage, and because we have allowed a third party interference to come into it. So we define our acceptable behavior. So I have to work on myself to ensure that even though I don't like confrontation, if this thing will work against the health of my marriage, then I need to do something about it. So that's then resolve it as much as possible. We recognize that conflict is not bad. It is how we handle it that's actually the issue. So also we went ahead to be able to do that. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So that stage, if for those of you who are listening, that's stage 3, which we call the storming stage. He just gave one example, but beyond maybe external interference, which we also had our own, personal stormings that bordered on things like finances, that bordered on communication.
Yeah.
We talked about communication before. My husband is the type that someone will ask him for money and he will give money. He will not tell me. It is when we now need something in the house, you will not be saying this one. And I have a good idea of how much he earns. So it wasn't much then, no, yes, granted. But at least I have an idea. And it's okay, but this one. He will tell me, oh, I had to send this to this one, I have to send this amount to this one. And he did not tell me. By default, I'm not the kind of person that if you say, I want to send money to this person, whether on his family side or on my family side, and I will say no. I will only just give you perspective and say, okay, don't forget that this our own bukata, or these are our own responsibilities. These are the things that we have to do. So by the time we do this, we do this. So these are the things we have to do. So let's see what is left. And I am always pushing for budget. Let's do budget. My husband is not a budget person, but now he has adjusted though. He's not a budget person.
That time should be once you spend the money, there's a way God can help us to bring the money back.
Hey, I used to tell him something.
Old mindsets.
My husband will tell me, God will provide. And I used to tell him, I said, God will provide is not a financial plan. God will provide is not a financial plan. So don't tell me that God will provide. So as the stories are going on, please, you can put your questions in the comment section, and we have people who are helping us to harvest the questions. So when it's time for Q&A, we will, by God's grace, do justice. So I just wanted to add to that. So then from that stormy stage, by the time we started entering our 5th year, we started understanding ourselves the more. So we're gradually evolving. Don't forget, we're also growing. We're deliberate. We're intentional, in reading books, in listening to messages and trainings that would help us, become better people, and ultimately make our marriage a better one. So it was not as if these stages were just automatic that from the stormy stage you just sat down and then you just moved, to the next phase. We were deliberate, and so that's one of the things I want to leave with us today. That please, let's be deliberate. Let's utilize the support system that we have around. People that that they have sense and will put sense into you. Use them. Read books. Listen to messages. Go for trainings. Go for marriage seminars. Anything that would enhance your marriage. Because for me, anything worth doing is worth doing well. If I decide to marry this man, then I'm going to stay married and enjoy the marriage. I used to tell people, and even my husband, that I have a scripture. The Bible says that Jesus came that we may have life and have it in abundance. And so I used to tell people that are close to me or something that I cancel, that for me, it means that in every area of my life, I would enjoy my marriage, I will enjoy my husband, I will enjoy my children, because that's part of the dividends of the death and resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. We are Christians, and I tell people that I am unapologetically a born-again Christian. I speak in tongues, I read Bible, and I won't shy away from it. So, by the Bible, people, pastors, books, training, seminars, those are tools that we harness, that help us gravitate from one stage to the other. So I'm going to talk on
the cultivating a mentoring relationship too is also a critical part.
Yeah. We have marriage mentors that we look up to, and we even have individual mentors who are married and also help us put things in line. I know there are 1 or 2 cases I've had to take to my own personal mentor, and I'll ask her, okay, this is, and the person is not someone that will want to side with me. If I'm wrong, she tells me, oh, you're wrong. No, this is not the right thing. Stability stage. So when you have moved from the stormy stage and you've been able to navigate it with all the tools, with our own experience that we have related, and with all the tools that we have also related, gradually you begin to move into the stability stage, because it's as if you've overcome the storm, and you begin the dust to begin to settle, and so you move into the stability stage. And in this ideally, but let me not use the word ideally, it is given that maybe from between year 5 and year 7, you should be able to overcome this, knowing your partner's default settings, knowing their personalities and all that. So it's a stage of friendship. It's a stage where you are now freer with yourself. I could do things. I can fart in his presence, and he'll tell me, why did you fart? You farted in the room. And I'll say,
I'll pick race like speed racer out
do
of
not
the room.
roll. And I'll come back. When you married me with everything plus my facts and all. You say anything is smelly. I say, no, you married everything. I'm able to do that because I'm very, very free. When I make a mistake in the office that I'm not even able to tell any other person, I'm able to tell him. There was a time I was occupying one very sensitive role, and we're going to have this flagship conference that we usually have, and we have guest speakers from outside the country. And I was supposed to do a hotel booking for one of a very top pastor. He's not in Nigeria. I was booking, for the hotel to give him early check-in, and that detail skipped me. By the time I remembered, I was like, I didn't know what to do. It was already late. The guy was already on the plane. They were telling us that there's no way. The hotel said there was no way. I couldn't tell anybody. It was my husband I told, and that's just one, situation. We prayed, and we started. Who do we know? Who can help us? Who can this? So, when you move from the stormy stage into the stabilizing stage or the stable stage, it's a stage where you now come into acceptance, because you know that you've seen this person. When you say you have seen this person finish, it's a powerful stage. It's a stage where you have seen the person finish, but you choose to love the person, irrespective of all the faults and whatever you have seen. And it works both ways, not just the man or the woman. It works both ways. Yeah. It's a stage you have seen the person completely. You know their faults, you know their weaknesses, you know the things that they struggle with. But inside of that, you choose to love the person. And for me, that's a very comforting stage, because it shows that no matter what your problems are, no matter what your faults are, I choose to love you. So I leverage on the power of choice, and we've solidified on our relationship. And in that stage, deeper love is built. In that stage, more friendship is built. In that stage, you now have history. You can then begin to tell your stories. The first year of our marriage, and I'm sure a lot of us here who are either married or in relationship, you can kind of relate, because you now have history. You can that do you remember that first year? We saw father. This thing. There's something binding you together beyond the emotions. There's something binding you together. There's not history. There's something you can talk about. So you guys, as I said, you are forming your own family tradition. You are forming things that has to do with you, your own peculiarity. So you are evolving your own ethnos, your own community. And so that stage, it's a beautiful stage, but again, you also need to solidify on it to be able to evolve and move into the higher stage. So for us, what did we do? We entrenched trust and friendship the more. And I took my accountability to the next level. If I'm going anywhere, my husband knows. I used to tell the way my mom brought us up, she used to say that if nobody knows where you are, your husband or your wife should be able to stay where you are. And so I took that to the next level. I say accountability for me and my husband, as in he must know where I am. I will not lie about anything. If I have money, I will not lie about it. If I get a gift, I will not lie about it. Then in that office where I was working, people will come and give me things. As I show my guy in the office, I'm showing my husband. If I mess up, I mean, we solidified that level by entrenching trust and entrenching building friendship. So at that stage, we knew the things that were working for us. So we redefined our boundaries. Oh, if we are going to have a guest, it should be like this. The things I will not um do to my own siblings, my own family, I will not do to his family. The things his family will not do to me, do to him, they should not do it to me. So friendship was entrenched, ownership of that relation of our marriage was entrenched, trust was entrenched, we redefined boundaries and we communicated more. Nothing was hidden. Till now, nothing is hidden between me and my husband. And these were the things that helped us to navigate from that stage into the next stage, which my husband would take. Have you noticed that in all these stages, right from when we are still drunk in fantasy, romance, and all these things, something is consistent, and that's communication. No matter how solid or how turbulent your relationship is, without communication, you can't achieve a lot of things. So I want to appeal to us that please, whatever phase you are in your relationship, or whatever phase you desire to evolve into, you cannot do without communication. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. That's the reality. And if you have observed the trend, it's like the trajectory is going up.
Mm-hmm.
If we handle it very well, where we started from, by the time we move from discovery stage to the stage where we are realizing, discovering each other, then from there to the storming stage, then to the stage where we're now getting us to know each other. If you deal with each of the stages very well, you notice that it's an upward trend that you are going to experience, which symbolizes progressive improvement. And if it's not dealt with in the way it's supposed to, you see that trend will dip and it will go down. So at this level now, you can't get to stage 4 and you will not find it easy to navigate to stage 5. So stage 5 is just an improvement of the stage 4. The commitment, and at this level we call it the commitment, acceptance, and transformation stage. The commitment, acceptance, and transformation stage. At this point, indices you see there is that you see a solid friendship, you see commitment to growth, you see collaboration happening at every level, you see intimacy at the highest form of level you can imagine, and you can see mutual trust. If you follow what you're saying and what she said we are doing now, you can attest to the fact that there's mutual trust and respect. Trust can't be one-sided. And therefore, it's important that we see that. And this is how you know that these things are in place. You are fully committed to the relationship, knowing that you and your partner you and your partner are in it, and the failure or success of that relationship largely lies in the hands of the two of you. You don't need a special person out there to make it work. The primary people that should make it work is the two of you. Then it is now love by choice and commitment, and not by emotion. Love by choice and commitment, and not by emotions. So you are also looking at the situation where you say you look for the best in and for your partner, the best in your partner, the best interest in your partner. So your partner's priority becomes your priority. Your partner's vision or goal, or what he or she want to aspire to, becomes your inspiration, even if it's not your own original inspiration, because you want to maintain unity, you want to maintain health in the home. Then you are committed to ensuring that you put smile in the face of your partner. Then how did we get about this at this level? We collaborated to grow. We collaborated. Collaboration is key because we define our own family as a team. That's why when you are looking at us, we say Team Agbogun, Team Dele, and Agbogun. We work as a team, and in a team, nobody work in silos. So because if you work in silos, the addition of one effort to another effort, if you add it together, the outcome will not be as much as you collaborate to produce the output. And therefore, why dissipate energy? Why waste resources when you can actually bring your thinking together? But you won't get to this stage if from the first stage to where we are now, you've not been able to resolve all those ones very well. So we collaborate. Then at this stage, we deliberately use words of affirmation, because you have to have an idea of your personality type, styles, traits rather. You want to have an idea of your love language. So we affirm our love, words of affirmation to affirm each other, to let us know that at this stage, I try to let her know that she's an asset to me. She makes it clear to me that I'm an asset to her. A week will not go by without us affirming one another. We'll say, I am grateful to God. And that's why some of the videos I threw out, in some of them, I would say, if I have to come back 1,000 times into this world, I say my decision will still be my wife. But if you ask me the first year of our marriage, I was saying secretly that I hope I have not made the wrong choice in the kind of person I'm married to, because we practically fight every other day. 48 hours will not go by without us having disagreements. But we are in a raw state, we're in the discovery state, whereby we didn't allow that to make it worse. Instead, we sought for help, and we were open to learning, and we adjusted from who we used to be into sitting into the new phase that we find ourselves. So there's a whole lot of that. So we have found that we practice love language, we maintain openness and we protect each other, and we also support each other's dreams, like I said earlier on. So it's at this stage that we experience the greatest fulfillment. Now we are grateful to God, because we have quite a number of people who on their own will just come and I would like you to be a mentor to me in the area of marriage, and somebody say, I like to talk to you. People feel comfortable coming to us and rest like that. So that's how far God has helped us, and this is the stage we want to put a closure, a stop to the faces. But through it all, God is our own number one factor. He's at the center of it all, and because He is the one that had helped us to traverse from that first stage to where we are today. And I can boldly and comfortably say that we're in the stage 5 in our own marriage. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for listening to us. We're going to move into the question and answer session now. I noticed that some questions have been into the chat section. Please kindly mute your microphones, please. Thank you so much. Please, I hope you guys are enjoying this. Please, if you are, kindly say something, put something in the comment section so that we will see you and know that we've not been talking to ourselves. It's good to get feedback. Please put something in the comment section. If you enjoyed anything, if you enjoyed this our love story and how we evolved, please put something in the comment section, and then where we'll go into question and answer.
Thank you, Sister Uwa.
All right.
We really appreciate the time, and we have so many questions here already. The first question is, how did you manage the culture parts in your marriage? I mean the part of man and woman and their duties at home.
Okay, that's the culture part that you are referring to, the man and woman. Okay.
So that's the first question. Should we take that first before we move to the next one?
Okay. Do you take answer?
All right. How we manage the culture.
Yes. The person is asking, how did you manage the culture part in your marriage?
In relation to a man and a woman, right?
Woman, yes, duties at home.
House chores, duties.
House chores. So this is what we do. This is what we do. We must pay attention from where we are coming from, the kind of upbringing we have, the kind of culture we are subjected to, the kind of religious mindset that we have, association that we are exposed to, and even the education as well. So who we are today, all of us, as we are here now listening to me now, who we are today is a function of the past programming based on the experiences that I just mentioned from those various factors. So that defines who we are now. So whatever it is you know now, you can't say is all there is to know about life and is all there is to know about relationship. In our own marriage, man and woman, there's nobody that is inferior. That is one understanding that we have. There's nobody that is inferior to each other. We just have gender differences. But I don't want to go into the point where we will now start making maybe arguments and rest like that, because when we go into the religious side of it and now say a woman supposed to submit to a man supposed to love the wife, people who have a cultural bias to it, you interpret life, you interpret subjects like this based on your filters, the filters of the programming of your mind that determine or define the filters that you have in viewing what something is all about. So as a man and as a woman, for us, we work as a team. Nobody is superior. If you don't share that mindset, it will be difficult.
I need to go and sleep.
If you don't share that mindset, it will be difficult to be able to work together. Will I say my wife does not submit to me? She submits to me 100%. Will I say I don't love my wife? I love my wife 100%. In our own case, submission is not one-sided. Submission is both ways. And therefore, if we don't have that mindset and the kind of worldview that you are coming from, then it will be difficult to be able to accept that. But we want to say here that nobody is inferior. You should be able to share that mindset. You should value each other, and you should be willing to give in to a superior opinion concerning any subject in
the family. Anybody can do it. So I remember when we were having our children, my mother-in-law and my mom, collaborated to take care of me when I gave birth. But after then, of course, after a few months, and gratefully, I used to live not far from my mom. So she will always come in, help with the bath and do all the things that I need help, with. But after some time, of course, I have to learn to do on my own. So once my mom and my mother-in-law, gradually eases off, I tell you, one takes over the bathing of the children. I remember, especially for our last child, our daughter, my husband, used to started bathing her from a month plus, after my mother-in-law returned, back to the village. He was one bathing her. He washes their clothes. He if he needs to wash plates, he needs to wash plates. For us, we see it as it is our family, it is our interest. So it's not gratefully God has helped us. Of course, there's been a washing of our mindsets, changing of mindsets, but we no longer assign certain roles to certain gender. What needs to be done that is in the interest of the family is done, as long as it is for the interest of the family. So if tomorrow now I'm not in the right frame of mind, or I'm not okay physically and I'm not able to cook, my husband will cook. Even though I love to cook, he will cook. If it's to do the laundry, he will do it. And it doesn't take anything away from him. It has not taken away from how I love and respect him. In fact, that has even increased my love and respect for him, knowing that he is not ruled by culture or ruled by popular opinion. So I hope that has answered that question.
Thank you very much. The signal threw me out, so I'm back here.
Oh, I know, sorry. You can't be thrown out. So Brayomi and Rashagu.
Yeah, the second question. Thank you so much, Sister Awa. Thank you, Pastor D. Thank you, you are back again. Thank God you are back again, rather. So the second question. This question is asking, what advice do you have for a couple that the husband is asking his wife to stop working or even doing business, but just stay at home, why the wife is not happy with such decision? So the husband wants the wife to stay at home doing nothing and is against her own decision. What do you have to say about that? What advice do you give such couples?
Let me say something, then maybe you can add yours. We believe in people to be empowered because there's a need for empowerment, and I, I would have wanted to say, once they agree that she will not work for somebody, or she has a business, then that is still okay. But hearing the later part of that question saying that even business that you should not do, maybe to just be at home. If we understand the nature of human being and the dynamism that we are wired, that we are made of by God, then you will be killing the potential of someone to make the person totally idle. And obviously, that person, if the person have the kind of personality and drive and aspiration that's supposed to be a world leader, and you are trying to tell the person to stay at home, it will be a tough one. And I think it's not something we can fully exhaust here. I will advise, if we have that person in this forum, maybe at the end of the day, we might post our numbers here. In case the person here doesn't have our numbers, then we can take the discussion up from there. Because there are different things we really need to drill down into and look at, so be able to decipher or find out what exactly is this thing all about. Whether is it an insecurity issue with the man? Is it someone not exposed like that? Is it about culture of where he came from? Because my dad, for instance, believed that women are meant to be housewives. So that's why I can relate with this. Even all the effort that my mom made, my mom of blessed memory made before when we were growing up, all the effort that she made, my dad said no. She just have to be in the house. And she went on her own, even learned typewriting business that time, many years back. That was something, and the job was waiting for her, only to get approval or endorsement by my dad, and he refused. For many years, she was even bitter, but thank God, she was able to deal with the issue of bitterness. So you will be killing someone if you make the person totally redundant, especially if the person is the type that has aspiration and is wired to do great things in life. So I don't know whether my wife will have.
Okay. Yes, the person could reach out to us and we'll take it further. Let me just add what you have already said. We evaluated when we were talking. We communication kept on appearing in all these stages. She may have tried communicating with the man, but you can never stop communicating. If this is your aspiration to work, then you need to keep talking to that man, and then you need to find out what's the reason. Why is it that he's asking you not to work? Is he afraid that, okay, you work and then we leave the children to people that we cannot trust? So what's his motive? Something must be driving him. Like my husband said, could it be insecurity? Or is it like he's so economically empowered that he feels that he can meet the needs of the family? Again, as humans, we get not just by being housewife or being a mother. There are so many things that accumulate into making us fulfilled as human beings. So you have to keep talking. You have to talk with your husband and find out why is it that he's not there. Was the motive, and address that motive. If it's how the children would be taken care of, then maybe you should put a structure in place and say, oh, maybe my mother's place is not too far. I have this support system. This is how I plan for the children to be taken care of. If it's the fact that he has plenty of money, he doesn't even know what to do with it, let him know that life is transient. Or anything can happen. Nobody even planned for COVID. Now, people that were so comfortable, they had jobs before March, some of them don't have jobs now. So why not paint it for the interest of the family? Let him see that it is in the interest of the family. In fact, it is in his own interest for you to be economically empowered. Except there's an issue of him not trusting you. But even after that, it's still not enough. You have to paint it around the fact that it will do the family good. Because what if something happens to that his one source of income? Then that means the whole family is exposed, financially, and that won't be okay. So look, talk to him, keep painting the picture of how it will do well for the family. And again, I'm a woman and I'm a Christian. I don't I don't or look down on the place of to the place of prayers, or I don't look down on prayers. The Bible says that the hearts of kings and queens are in the hands of the Lord, and as the river, what the rivers, He will turn it to wherever He wants to turn it to. And you can also pray. God is the one that created him, so He can begin to turn him around and turn his heart around, so that he begin to see, a change and have a different perspective. So yes, come and see us, but that's what I will have to say to that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also,
in addition to that, the person actually said that if the man, after several counseling and against all reasons, refused to shift his ground to allow her walk, what can she do?
I think we should just take the discussion beyond here, and if we talk, so that because you said we have a lot of questions, and I think we spent some time on this one. So let's move on.
The third question says, at what point is one expected to involve pastors and family in their marriage? At what point is one expected to involve the pastors and the family?
This is what I would say. Why would people want to see people to help look into a situation? It's because there's a problem. It's because there's a problem. So I would say, we said earlier on while we're discussing, you develop cultivate a mentoring relationship. Don't wait until there's serious problem in your home before you are trying to look for some solution. But now, here we are now, maybe there's an issue now. At what point? I would say we can meet pastors, can meet counselors, but I would advise when it has to do with marital issues, depending on the kind of pastor you are meeting, it's not all pastors that are trained to handle marital related matters. I've seen pastors destroy families because of the ideology that they brought into it. They were not trained. I'm a pastor, so I can say this. So it's not that maybe I'm anti-pastor. I'm also a pastor, so I can actually really say this. Beyond me being a pastor, I don't deceive myself. Even as a certified counselor, there are some other specialized area that if I have the case, I can do first aid, but I will always refer. So it's better you talk to someone that is well trained, that will project objectivity, and that will help you decipher with time-tested tools and assessments. Because as a professional counselor, we don't look at feelings. We look at it, analyze the situation, use time-tested tools and assessments to decipher what the state of the problem is. Then we can provide solution in such a way that we even do a professional report to that in that regard, and you can see it. Except you are not now willing to apply. I'm telling you, if you are willing to apply, there's no marriage on this planet Earth, whatever the problem is, that cannot be resolved. It only lies in the hands of both parties that are involved. So I would say there's no defined state where you say, I want to go and meet it. Once you're having issues, you don't allow it to degenerate so much before you talk to someone. But the person you're talking to, be sure is the right person. That's what I would say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I don't have anything to add to it. I like the answer.
So
okay.
So if you then decide to bring in someone, look for people who are trained. Just like if you are sick, you're not going to meet a musician when you are sick. You have to go and meet a doctor. If you need your clothes made, you're not going to meet a mechanic. You're going to meet the tailor. And if you need to fix your car, you're not going to meet you're not going to meet maybe a social media specialist. You are going to meet the mechanic. So everybody have their areas of training. There's training, professionalism, always coming in everything that we do in life. So if you're going to bring in anybody at all, at least first of all, explore the option of bringing in professionals, because then again, they will not be biased.
Yeah.
They won't be biased as family members would probably be. Thank you.
There's a link that has been posted in the group.
Yes, I want
to really encourage that you help us take the form and fill. The main objective is to be able to give feedback, because this platform like this we're striving to make it like once in a month. It's just a way of our own giving back to the society. And also there's also going to be a link that will be used, that will be sent on the resources that we have. There are books that we've written. The links will be projected, so that I will mention some of the topics for the books afterwards. But I just felt so that I don't forget, and before we get to the end, that we might not have time to talk about that. So thank you. We can move on.
Okay, sir. In addition to what Pastor just said, we have resourceful books that you can always click on. It's for purchase as well. I've posted it already on the chat. We can always get all the links there.
Okay.
And also the feedback form that we need to also fill, that has been posted on the chat group. We can always get all this. Thank you so much, everyone. So to the next question, sir.
Yes.
The next question says, please, what happens if one of the couple is a spendthrift and is not even open about his or her income? What do you advise the other party to do?
Okay, baby. I can answer, but I want her to.
Okay. So
hello, sir. Before you go ahead, ma. Bro, I think you should take the next one. I think they are related also, so that we can be able to save time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Also, it's also about finance. When the other party hides a finance, and when you know when you're now making money, when the other party hides his or her finance, and the other party now is now making money, the other party wants you to disclose your income. So what happened in that situation?
Okay. See, the truth is, secrecy in any form in marriage is not advised. Is not advised. However, everybody have their money temperament. Some of us are aware of it, some of us are not aware of it. Some of us are spenders, some of us are hoarders, some save, some are risk takers, go into investment and just, plunge in. So people's risk appetite, are different. And some people are like, when they see, they buy, and God will take care of tomorrow. But the world is not designed that way. Even the scriptures, the Bible encourages that we save. Encourages that you save and you plan for tomorrow. So again, we'll go back to communication. You need constantly hammer to this particular person, that paint a scenario, and if possible, look for a real life example of someone who used to be very comfortable, who seemed like they were financially okay, and then who, unfortunately, things now turned the other way, probably because they were not saving and they were not mindful of how to spend. Some people learn by this from the stories of other people, but some people learn from experience. But in this case, it is not an experience that we will wish on anybody to learn from their own experience, because it will be terrible. Imagine you are doing well, you are comfortable, and then you now slide into someone that you can't even take care of your needs and that of your family. So if you have a partner who is a spendthrift, constantly spends money, does not think of tomorrow, then you need to, please kindly mute your microphone.
Just go on.
So you need to constantly communicate to the person the implication of their actions. And then I will say this, and I will say it with some caution. You yourself that is not a spendthrift, then you need to look for how you can siphon money from him or her and be saving elsewhere for the good of the family. Because you know that once this person lays hands on it, the money is gone. And of course, you have your children to consider, you have your future to consider, and the bills are not relenting. So you keep communicating, and then you now have something that that the family can fall back on. Because when something happens, while the person is navigating through his experience of learning from his experience, the family will suffer. But if there's a buffer somewhere that you knowing that this is not the right thing that you have been doing, that would help. Then the other party that is not opening up on their income. and I would say that for that to happen, there's an issue of trust, and we both of them need to come clean. There's probably an issue of trust because is that they don't trust that you will keep you. Maybe I'm not. Please, Brian, me repeat the question again so that I don't miss it up.
No, you are on track.
I'm on track. Okay.
Yes.
So is there's an issue of trust, or the person is just, not, again, culture. Some people grew up with the mindset that woman should not know how much a man earns. These things are culture issues, and they, for those of us who are probably who are single here and you are not married, please, when you are in courtship or you are dating, it shouldn't all be fantasy, romance, and all. There are things you need to talk about. Talk about the person's culture, talk about the person's background, talk about what the person believes in terms of finances, in terms of upbringing, in terms of in-laws. Those things that affect marriage, you need to talk about it so that you know the amount of war that you're going to wage when you get married. Because these things did not just start today. The person that is a spendthrift did not just start being a spendthrift today. The person that hides information about their finances did not start today. If there's no trust issue, that is just the person's makeup. The person did not just start today. So on the side of singles, please talk about these things, address these issues before you commit yourself to a lifelong, journey. But now that you are in that relationship, then you guys, you need to talk about it. You need to devise the way forward.
Thank you. I think I'll just add that culture can also play a whole lot. I grew up from a culture whereby you don't show a woman everything. So if somebody operates with that mindset, it could either be the man this time around, it could be the woman that came from that kind of a culture. So if the person will develop that kind of a worldview, so when time the person gets into marriage, the person will want to exhibit such cultural biases in it. So I would have shared that kind of perspective because I grew up in an environment whereby you feel that you don't tell a woman everything. And when it's time to talk about something that is very important, you have important issues to discuss, women should step aside. It's men that have to discuss real issue. Thank God that I got exposed and I had the right association. I'm very sure my kind of wife that I have, I will not have been able to get married to her because that's our nature will not allow such kind of a person. I know if she has sensed that from the beginning, we would not have been married together. So sometimes it could be from a cultural background that thing played out that way. So because of time, I'm looking at time now so that we don't stretch it too much. Maybe we can take 2 more questions. And any other questions that are not answered, then we'll note them down. Please, we'll encourage if we can leave on the feedback column. There's a segment in the form web that shows email. If you can leave your email, once we respond to all the other questions that are not yet responded to, we'll send it via email to all of us just to capture that. Thank you very much. So maybe we can take 1 or 2 more questions, then we can put it closer to it.
Let's just take 1 more question, sir.
Okay.
The question says, can you please help explain more on submission for the woman and love for the man? Should a woman submit to a decision that is obviously bringing the family to destruction just because we ask her to submit?
Okay. Let me talk from the perspective of the man. Then she will talk from the perspective of a woman for a man to love. I'll talk from the perspective of a woman to submit. Submission is within the context of what God expects. It is unconditional. But we don't tell people to submit to the point where you compromise your godly relationship with God, or you submit to the detriment of your family going down the drain. And that's why I won't say it categorically on this platform to say, so because of that, don't respect him. Because of that, don't love her. No, because whatever we are seeing now, whatever are the issues now, they are offshoots. And we have to be extremely careful. We have to dig down to the roots to know what is causing it. In my professional practice, there's what we call the tree of life. Call it the tree of life. Whoever is hurting in the past and takes that assessment, I'm telling you, the person will end up finding himself or herself broken And I've had quite a number of cases like that people will be shedding tears because it's like it reveals your life from a clear perspective. And you are seeing how your life is being played out in a video from where you started from as a child to where you are today. Because the whole idea of the subject tree of life is that it takes you right from the root, the family you came from, the kind of culture that you belong to, take it down to even your grandfather lineage. Then you take it up from there. You now come up to having, because we define the trunk, the branch, the trees, and the leaves and the fruits synonymous to some things, but we capture in such a way that it helps you to look, analyze your good memories, analyze your bad memories, analyze your aspiration in life, analyze things that can stop you from achieving what you have in mind. So by the time you go through that assessment tools, it puts you in a position whereby you can x-ray your life and helps you plot wherever, help you point where that thing started from to where you are at the end of the day. So I'm deliberately talking like this to let you know that is a root. Most of these things we're talking about have root cause to them, and it's a mindset, it's a cultural thing. So for submission, so submission is, and my wife will totally submit to me. I will totally love my wife till thy kingdom come. So it's not a subject for me. So there are fundamentals that we really need to deal with to get to people to now get to that point where they can understand this better. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So from the side of loving your husband, right? No.
Yes. No. Loving your wife. So how has it been easy that for me to say I love you? So you'll be able to.
Okay.
I talked about submission. I spoke about submission, right?
So, Pastor D has spoken about submission for the wife. So you are taking the love aspect.
The man loving
the wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So for us, right from time, my husband's wiring, my husband's makeup, he's a loving person, so it's easy for him to love. But then again, there's the aspect of me making it easy for him to love me.
Yeah.
Because there are people that they started out well, but then when things began to show up, you now see that certain things, certain traits, certain behaviors, is now kind of killing, or should I say, compressing the love that would naturally come, from a man to his wife. And so for me, it was not an issue. My husband loves me, and I strive to make it easy for him to love me. So the things that I do, I don't disrespect him. I know that men, they love to be respected. Everybody loves to be respected. So I don't disrespect him. I don't treat him anyhow. I put his needs above mine a lot of the times, and he does that. So because he sees that, oh, I do things that are of interest to him, things that are of priority to him, so it's easy for him to also reciprocate. Okay, so I would say that for a man, to show love to your wife, please make it, let it come naturally. And if you feel that it's not easy, it's not coming, maybe the woman is not maybe the woman is doing things and you feel, oh, she's not deserving of your love, please, let's go back to the basics. Number one, why did you fall in love with this woman? Why did you marry? Marriage is an institution where we should practice unconditional love. Who knows, some of those things that you are doing, that they are doing, would ultimately turn the woman around to now begin to do things that will be of pleasure to you. But my point here is, as a man, strive to love your wife unconditionally, because that's the kind of love that will ultimately sustain the marriage. When we start with a lot of emotions, a lot of adrenaline, a lot of passion, but those things, they are not sustainable. With time, when issues come, they become suppressed. But the love that is by decision, oh, this woman, whether she's worthy, she's not worthy, I will still love her. That is the one that now makes a turnaround, and the woman then begins to do things that will make it easy for you to love her. If I'm to summarize it, I'll just say conquer by loving. Conquer by loving. Bring submission about by loving. So I hope that
Yes.
the question is answered.
Yes,
Yeah.
what I'll just add is this. Sometimes when somebody, I would say the party that is willing to make a change, but is seeing that the other partner is making it difficult, if you can come towards a professional counselor can work with you and give you perspective on how best you can go back and meet your partner and start to do some things that will help your partner now start noticing a difference. And at the end of the day, it can work, because sometimes it's not both parties you're able to talk to at the same time. If one party refuses, then you can work with that one person, and that one person is the one that can now work the scripts that's supposed to be needed to make the marriage eventually work out. Some worked, some didn't work. Like I said, there's no matter how professional you are, the state of a marriage cannot be better than the state at which the parties involved are willing to allow it to go, or the extent to which they want to allow it to go. So that's what I would say. So
thank you, sir. Thank you, ma. Thank you very much.
Any other question?
Let's take the very last one.
There's one that
this question is so interesting.
I'm seeing one in the comment section.
Sister Awa.
Yes,
I've
seen it. And I know the people asking it. They're my mommies. I know them.
Okay.
What if your husband refused to ask his sister to ask her guests to leave that night? What would you have done as a typical man to protect? What would you have done as it is for a typical man to protect their siblings?
When I saw the question, I was already smiling.
I saw it on your face.
What would I have done? Truly, nothing. That's the truth. We're talking about a total stranger that your sister brought. So because the man does not want to, confront, you now put the lives of every one of us at risk. You don't know this man. No introduction was done from the beginning. He just came, he sat down, you greeted your sister, I greeted my sister, your sister, and then, we're just watching TV. We served them food, they ate, they're just watching TV. Nothing. I mean, that is not reasonable as far as I'm concerned. It's not reasonable. If someone brings in a stranger to your home, the person should introduce the stranger to you and say, my brother, my sister, this is this person, this is who the person is to me. This is what the person intends to, this is why the person is there. I mean, it's simple respect, simple courtesy, because it is your home. It is your home. I'm the wife of that house. It is my home. So I feel that at least we were owed some form of explanation, but we're not giving any. But beyond that, a lot of things have happened. So I knew, the scenario we were in. Explanation or no explanation, who is this person? How safe are we with the person? So if my husband had said, I cannot confront, truth be told, me being me, I will call my sister aside and say, this person, we don't know him. Is he safe? I'm not comfortable. I would tell her myself, but in a very respectful, way older than us. But if she refuses to listen and says the man wants to spend the night, as in the fire will go to my husband. That's the truth. I'm just being real. It's him I will put the fire on. That if anything happens to me and my children in the course of the night, hey.
What I would say is, I think she has even when we started out, one or two of my sisters were living with me, and because I don't have cash, I was earning 13,500 that time. She was earning 17,500, and so when we got married, my sisters were staying with me before we got married, and we discussed the matter that when we get married, though, it's always advised that you don't allow somebody to stay with you, so that when you are going through your teething phase, things will not, people will not pick something and help you magnify it and damage your home for you. At that point, she was not happy that we started out our new marriage with my sisters being around and I knew the havoc that thing actually caused.
Should I tell them how the story of how they started staying with us?
Because of time.
Okay,
Because
sorry.
I'm just trying to buttress. The fact that I'm just trying to buttress. It's okay.
Sorry.
I'm just trying to buttress the fact that there are similar situations like that at the end of the day, like she said, I will not do it. Eventually, I will allow, because she was not happy. She was angry, but eventually they still stayed with us. And I was not. I would have loved that I get them a place, but I was not financially buoyant enough. And I knew the damage, especially the older one, did to our family, to our relationship. If not that both of us are mature, she could have possibly damaged and destroyed our home and made us to go our separate ways. So that's why we advise as much as possible. If it's possible, if you're just getting married, for people who are single here, if it's possible, if you can just be together for the next 1 year to understand each other very well before you can both agree now that, okay, maybe if anybody wants to come and stay, then you can stay. But it's your choice, it's your decision. But we usually advise that. But it's open. So I know definitely for that night, she will not have done anything, but she will just be angry more with me. I will apologize. We'll move on with that, and I will learn my lesson from there, because it has actually happened like that before. So I feel, let me just put that in perspective to let us know that my wife is, even though you see her, I'm telling you, when it comes to the issue of strong hearts, I have a stronger heart than her. But in terms of the face of a eloquence, I give it to her. Now, mama. So at that point, I think we should put an end to this. We've stretched the time. The target was for us to close this by 4:30. I've been seeing a hand raised up by Bradipo, and I don't know. He's been raising the hand since, and I think he wants to say something.
Okay.
Maybe we can just, it's an exception. All questions will be taken from the chat. But Bradipo, you can go ahead and. Are you with us, sir?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know I raised my hand. I've been enjoying it quietly.
Okay. Thank God. So we can sort of close. Okay, that is good. It's good.
Yes, you can close so that I don't run over the time.
Right.
I've had fun so far. Thank you. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So, baby,
one last word, Abby. Yeah. So, I am really grateful that everyone, took time out to join us. My last word is on the fact that in marriage is like one long journey where you have, small journeys. So those are the phases. Someone said that I've been married to my husband. I've been married 3 times, but to the same person. So the person was just invariably talking about the phases that they've gone through. So people change. Marriage would go through, navigating and evolving stage, just like as we human beings change. So for us who are into relationship, when we are married, do not be afraid of change. Do not be afraid to evolve, but be deliberate, about those changes that you're allowed to come into your home. Because whether we like it or not, changes would come. Things would change. You get married, from there you become a parent, changes would come. Your children grow from one phase to the other. You would begin to go through changes. So be deliberate about those changes, be the one to initiate those changes so that you can go through those seasons of evolving and you can determine the results that you get. So when you go through those phases, be deliberate. We've listed quite a number of resources and tools, but I also want to emphasize, we talked about having a mentor relationship. Have someone who you trust, who you know that they are sound, they have the mental capacity, to give you guidance in marriage. Read books, but most importantly, put God at the center of your home. It will do a whole lot of good to your marriage. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I would say that we should establish the fact that you are coming from different background, and background differences brings about the differences you share. That's why we always say that differences are not deficiencies. So I'll also add that you don't be derogatory in your discussion with your partner, whatever way, and be willing to adjust to the new phase of your life. And look for a way to represent your partner's interest, because once your partner is always saying that his or her interest counts a lot, and it meant a whole lot of a lot to you, then the person will see himself or herself as an asset in your life. So you want to represent your partner's interest, then practice openness at all times. When we talk about communication, can overemphasize that. Openness in all areas, not just in one area you are open, in other areas you are not open. My wife put it now and said, put God at the center of it all. So, but in all of this, don't remain static. Evolve and ensure that you improve over time. And those ingredients and those elements that can help you to evolve from wherever you are to the next phase of your life is what we have shared out and pouring out our heart from here. And here on from subsequent ones, because we felt we should be doing this, maybe even if it is once in a month. So this like a broad strokes for like an overview. So subsequently we'll narrow it down, like a tailored down to specifics in areas that we can pick on, and it can just be for 1 hour. We'll talk about it for 30 minutes, we take questions for 30 minutes, or max 1 hour, 30 minutes. And we believe that this will create opportunity for people to experience bliss in their home. And as we are all listening now, we believe that our own homes will experience bliss. And when your home experience bliss, you don't be selfish about it. Make yourself available and be a donor to other families, so that through your own home, your other homes can actually be blessed by him. Because we believe, God, that if other families are inspiring and they are imparting other families, at the end of it all, the future of our society, of our nation, and the world at large will be a better place to live. And that's why we always say that family is the bedrock of any society. If we can get it right from home, we're going to get it right for the nation. And I trust that all of us represented here, our homes shall experience bliss in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Please, if you've not filled the online form to give us feedback, is in the comment section. Brayomi, please, you can post it again so that I can come up. Kindly, fill it. We just want an assessment of this meeting. Have you been impacted? Have you been blessed? Please give us your honest opinion, and then also tell us which areas do you think we should concentrate on? Which areas would you like us to address, going forward? Thank you so very much once again. We appreciate it all. And then we see people from all over the world. Talkback from US, thank you so much. Brad Zico, I know you are not in Nigeria too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I see my sister from Abuja, Precious. Auntie Shiko, thank you so much. Pat, I mean, we have quite a good number of people, and being our first time, we've been invited to speak at meetings, but this is the first time we're actually organizing ours, right?
Digitally,
yes.
We've done physical ones.
We've done physical, on a number of times. So we are so grateful for taking time out to join us.
The resources, they're actually there also. Maybe you can also repost that one. There are 4 books: Conflict Management, Ready, Set, Read. That's talking about premarital fundamentals, Infidelity, and 21-day affirmation. So the links are there to be able to, if you have to purchase, you can purchase that. But before we go, I think it's good if we can see each other's faces so that we can say hello.
Please. Hi. Please, can you put your cameras? You can put on your microphone now, so we can just greet. Hey, Mama. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you.
That's okay. Thank you. I might not be able to call all the names, but I want to say thank you.
Thank you. Talk best. Thank you. Okay. Are you there around? Put on your microphone.
Mommy,
thank you so much.
Mommy has been in since from the beginning.
Yes.
Thank you, Mommy.
Mommy, please put on your microphone.